Hello, everyone. My name is Anatoly. I live in Berbera, Somaliland for several months now, but we'll carry on doing that. This is the fourth video in a series of videos about Berbera in particular and Somaliland in general. This time I will talk about cost of life and compare some prices between Somaliland and UK and some other countries. So cost of living. Okay, accommodation. Accommodation could be what? Your private accommodation, personal, your house, your home where you live, hotel, rental house, or your build something. So your own house. You can build your own house starting with, I don't know, $10, $20. You take several pieces of wood, several some leaves, palm trees for the roof. Okay, put something in between your pieces of wood, and that's your house. It looks awful from outside, but from inside, it doesn't have to be looking awful. Could be livable. I've been inside few houses like that. Some of them were looking awful, some of them were looking tidy. And livable, perfectly livable. Okay, basic, of course. So if you have no money, you build house like that, make restaurant there, make some other, I don't know, garage or something. And that's what people do in many places, especially not in big towns like Berbera. Berbera is not very big, but relatively. Hargeisa, just outside in small villages. There are many, many places like that, many houses. Nothing seriously bad with that. If you have no money, you live there and you can live reasonably comfortable. So you can rent house, you can rent flat. Some websites say that the rental flat in Berbera is, I don't know, $100 a month, or 150 rather. It's in that website, which I will put in the description of the file. We rent house, which I already described quite a lot. This is about 100 square meter house. House of that size, rental price in Cardiff would be, I don't know, almost £1,500 per month. In London, it's probably 2,000 per month or something, if it is not central London. Here we pay what, $130 per month. $130 per month, plus $10 per month for electricity, plus $10 per month for water. So altogether, what, $150? No other taxes. So basically, we live for free. Take into account that hotel room in good hotel, but not very good room in Mansour Hotel, we stayed last year, the year before, was £100 per day, 105 per day after discount. And some other hotels, it's more like $60. Some other so-called posh hotels. They're posh, but they're not very good. Neither of them is very good, except one which was Damal in Hargeisa in the very center. That was quite good. Damal, we stayed in Damal in Berbera. It was not similar price, but it was not that good. There are hotels which with not much worse rooms, but they cost $10 or even less. and decent hotels. Maybe there is no air conditioning, but in winter, there is winter now, they don't need air conditioning because it's not that hot. It's not hot. It's a perfect weather. So that's accommodation. That's hotel. If you want to build proper house, if you build house like what we are renting, it's I would guess it's $30,000-$40,000 because it's cheap materials and foundation is not that good. Probably very basic, very cheap, very cement is okay, crushing in places, and it's not very careful, but it's all right. Okay. We're not living there for long. We will move elsewhere. That will be other programs when I will be ready to talk about that and show that, describe that, and it will be long discussions if there will be a test. So we could build houses for 30,000. They're nicely looking houses which people build around, and they are much bigger than 100 meters, probably close to 200 square meters. They're all one story, of course, because of foundation. They don't want to do foundation, do proper foundation. Then the estimated price is something like of building is about 70,000. They look nice. They look very nice. Maybe because they are very new. Maybe in several years they will not look as nice as that, but they are quite spacious and look very nice. There are quite a lot of new houses around this area. We even talked to police chief, which has house next to, in a super prime place next to Mansour Hotel. He's not as a police chief, but he's as the owner of that house, because we were interested in that. And he built his house, which looks very luxury, 150,000. I don't know if there is corruption or that was salary, but even if there is corruption here, it's totally different scale from what I hear very often in news and discussions, because by birth I'm half Ukrainian, half Russian. Both sides are quite bad in that respect. Okay, I live in more than 30 years in UK, so UK corruption is not known that broadly. So yes, corruption in third world countries. Somaliland is not third world country. Somaliland is a country of unknown world to most people. It's a completely different world. It's not developed countries. It's not underdeveloped. It's just completely different. But it's one of the best in terms of what? In terms of democracy, in terms of order, in terms of development, in fact. Despite it seems to contradict to what I will be saying later, but the progress in what I see in 15 years, first time I've been here 15 years, is absolutely enormous. Of course, one would say, okay, go back to colonial times when Somaliland was a colony of UK, of Great Britain, and life was much better. I agree with that. According to stories and according to memories and according to numbers, economics numbers and education or whatever. But even after it stopped being colony for some time, when the Russians were here, Soviet Union, it was okay country. It was then civil war and genocide, horrible genocide, and when, I don't know, 30% of population got, or maybe between 20-30. And Somaliland got eliminated, killed by neighbors. They still want to do the same now. And some indirectly, some big countries helping them, because by paying them big money to Puntland to hold pirates, to reduce pirating, but they spend some money on. Anyway, I talked about that already. So housing is cheap, from zero to super luxury home for less than 200,000. Luxury home on the beach, luxury house on the beach, not bad. Okay, land is cheap if it is not in good location, but land is if it is on the beach, and it's already started to be reasonably expensive. What else? Next part of security of cost of life and life in general. Security here, it's a safe country. Don't read. At least it feels safe, because Somaliland government puts lots of attitude to security, policing, prisoners and stuff, looking after prisons and stuff, where they keep all the radicals in the prisoners. Very nice strategy. So it feels safe, even for me. I attract far too much attention everywhere, but it feels safe. I don't know if I may be wrong, but if I am wrong, you won't have any of my videos, because meet dinosaur, I don't meet dinosaur. If I meet dinosaur, that's it. Because there are still radicals, especially because of this recognition of Somaliland by Israel. There are some more active activity from Puntland, recent activity in mainland Somalia, which doesn't exist. There are many Somalians, because just slogans. But for some reasons, Western people like people who talk rather than people who do things. But okay. Politics is politics. Politics is too difficult to understand to simple people like me. So safety is so far so good. So as I said in a previous video, the biggest danger is from dolphins, because they pass far too close to the beach. Transportation is good and cheap. There are these three major towns, major cities: Hargeisa, Berbera, and Urpo. To go to Burho, you still need to go to Berbera, despite its almost equilateral triangle. So the cost of transportation from Berbera to either of the cities is between $6 and $7, depending on company, depending on some other circumstances, in a very comfortable minibus, which is collective taxi. It also takes you to the destination you want in the city you choose. They run very frequently. They also do some transporting some goods. They do local post. They replace post as well, so they make some money on that. But compare that with UK transportation prices or railways. Anyway, no comparison. Taxi is the small cars everywhere in Hargeisa, is the same in Berbera. They're everywhere. The cost is roughly, depends on area you go, but for 5 to 7 kilometer ride, it would cost you $1. And some 4 miles right in Cardiff would cost you £20. What? 25 times more expensive in Cardiff, of course, than here. So basically free. If you round this to mean that your transportation is free, but free for me, if I compare to UK prices, but of course it's not free for local people. Still not expensive, but expensive, not expensive. It depends on the other discussion. What is expensive, what is not expensive for local people. Okay, now let's go to comparison of food. Food prices. I'll compare several basic products. Sorry, I don't know why I jumped. In the UK, I put also Spain, Russia, Berbera. Berbera prices are not the same as the Burko prices. For some products, for some grocery, similar on Hargeisa, Berbera, Burko. But for meat, fish, milk, it's completely different. I will mention that. So that's prices. We made some table with my friend. Basic prices based on famous websites, and just took it. It's a prices which are between average and the cheapest. Because what is fish, what is eggs, what is anything depends. Like fish, is it frozen? What kind of fish? Okay, cheap fish. Frozen, half frozen, something in between. Okay, difficult to see numbers. They are in different units anyway. That's all translated into dollars and histograms. So flour in here in Somaliland, there are dozens and dozens of different flours, different grains. And okay, it's cheaper, but not twice cheaper, just a little bit cheaper than in other countries. Potatoes, they look similar to Russian or Belarusian potatoes. Not similar to UK potatoes, but more natural potatoes. Then the price is similar to Russian potato. Carrots are even more expensive, but here, expensive, not expensive, but here everything is super organic. So organic food means it doesn't look nice, and it looks uneven, so it looks ugly, but it looks fresh and looks and it tastes tasty. And tasty means tasty, but it doesn't look nice. Sainsbury's would immediately reject any single carrot or any single potato or any single anything from what you buy here, but it's obviously organic. I'm if there will be interest, I'm going to make programs about vegetable and chicken farms and in here at some point. Not next, but in a month or 2 months' time, I will most likely take an interview at the shop. I usually shop with a shopkeeper. She can talk about farms and how does she organize it, all logistics and stuff like that. In that shop, I already showed that some photos from that shop in the previous one of previous videos, discussions. It's a main shop that they sell basically everything except meat and fish. They sell lots of different stuff. I'll talk about that later, and I already talked about that in the previous movie. And that's where I took the prices. In Berbera, I didn't go to check the lowest prices. I just took this one particular shop prices. It's not expensive, but it's not obviously not the cheapest. Cheapest is probably somewhere in the market. Okay, bananas are cheaper in Somaliland. They're much more expensive in Russia, apparently, than in UK and Spain. Orange is similar price in UK. It's most expensive. In apples, the same price everywhere. Meat, it's cheap, but not very cheap. In Burko, it's much cheaper. In Hargeisa, it's cheaper as well. The more animals around there than here. But here, meat is fresh, and it's not beef usually. Beef, I don't know. You can buy beef, but here it's written beef, but it's not beef. It's usually it's lamb or camel meat everywhere. There's so many camels everywhere in Somaliland. It's one of their main export animal because they get lots of money from selling camels, sheep, and that was my discussion at the end of previous part 3, where I showed the places where they keep animals before transporting to Arab countries. Fish, fish in Berbera is super cheap and super good. Nobody will ever buy fish in Berbera which was not caught this morning. You go, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock to fish shop or where all these fishermen leave the place and then they buy very cheaply nice fish. Okay, I have a list of fishes, of main fish, types of fishes they sell. I don't know if there will be interest. I can talk about that at some point. Maybe I can get interview with a lady who works for 20 years. I actually showed her in previous movie, and there's a very, very small movie that was from that fish shop. She was a very nice one. Yeah, but if fish goes to Urho or Hargeisa, the price will triple at least. Maybe it gets bigger. There is no. It's difficult to say what fresh milk is because it's seasonal. It's daily. There is the price can change daily because it's demand and supply. Now there is not much demand because of dry season. There were not many rains, not much rain in September, October. So it's a little bit difficult with milk and camel milk. Camel milk is more common here than cow milk or goat milk. It's possible to buy all three. But camel milk is more popular because they say it's healthy. I drink camel milk, the sour camel milk. It comes kind of yogurt. It's all right. I mean, they say it's healthy. There is no other types of milk, but there is milk powder. People do use milk powder, much more common than normal milk because it's much cheaper. 1 kilo costs $6. They use milk from milk powder, and also because it's hot, the milk gets fermented very quickly. So it's the fresh milk. So eggs, they're not very cheap, but they are very, very organic according to the look, because it's all you can see where they came from. Each egg, when you go to UK and you buy it, you don't know where they come from. Where they came from. They are so nice and tidy and clean. Here they're not. So about $2 per 10 items. Sugar, kind of the same, slightly cheaper because of VAT, because some other sunflower oil is Ukrainian anyway. I already talked about that. Same price. Petrol is twice cheaper than in Europe, but similar price to Russia. Diesel is the same price as petrol. It's 80 cents. 80 cents. Always recall that it's all in dollars. All these units are dollars on y-axis. So it's quite cheap. Okay, quite cheap for me. Again, what is cheap for me may not be that cheap. May not be that cheap for local population. So let's go to local population. So you open ChatGPT or any other AI tool, they will tell you that about 70%, 75% of people have income less or equal than $2 per day. What is $2 per day? Now you can see, you can live cheaply. Many people don't have electricity in their houses. Even people who live next to us. Not many people have refrigerators and stuff like that. They don't need to. I don't know, they need, but they don't have. So one of the neighbors will always charge the power banks. They have several children. Every day we charge them power banks. They have electricity, but they cannot pay $10. Okay, we gave them $20, but they spend it on food. Anyway, we charge them every day for the last 2 weeks. The little boy comes and swaps power banks. So $2. What's $2? $2 doesn't give you much, but $2 is not that little because, as I already explained, in some families they have 10 or more children. Okay, if somebody unlucky has several wives, then he can have 20, 30, 40 children, and he has to supply because that's a man supplies. Women don't work much because if they have so many children, they need to look after children. So if a family of 10 people, then a man on average on every day should on a day should bring home what? $20. $20 is $600 per month. Even average salary, including big bosses and some reasonably well-paid people in port and military. Military is not well-paid, but some depends on their ranks. The average salary is $150. That's again from all these websites. So if you have 10 children, it's almost impossible if you are not a very big boss or have a very good business, which doesn't exist much here. You cannot really get towards $2 per person in your family, especially if you are one of these herders or living outside looking after animals and stuff like that. And percentage of people with living on $2 or less is more than 80% in the country, not on Berbera. What is Berbera like? It's the same everywhere. In that sense, nomads are nomads everywhere. Nomads, herders, they call them. And it's harsh life. It's harsh life for them because just because. So in fact, $2 is not poverty because you can live with very little money, eating. Okay, well, what already told about that. I like these samosas for 10 cents. So the only reason why I don't eat it every day or eat it more than I want, because my wife doesn't let me eat much because I said, oh, they're not healthy and sunflower, whatever oil, I don't know oil they use, but they're very healthy and very nice. Okay, when we come back from swimming in the morning, I try to buy several samosas for me and her when I'm allowed. I don't know if they have these 10 cents. One banana costs 10 cents. Can everybody buy banana? Okay, then day before yesterday. So I was in the car waiting for my wife to go to the shop. I was in the car for the reason, usually I go to the shop myself as well, but The car has problem with batteries, and I didn't want to stop the engine. So I was sitting in the car, and next to the car was a big rubbish bin with lots of rubbish, which this vegetable shop, my favorite. They were putting all this vegetable, some grocery, whatever rubbish, in that big, and then there were two girls, about 5, 6 years old. They spent 5, 10 minutes inside this rubbish bin, super smelly, of course. And they were not both inside. One was inside, and one was helping her to get in and out because it was big. And when the other got out, and they both were super happy because the other one, she found half of a good banana. And they ate this half of good banana, and they were so happy. I tried to run after them, but give them money, but they actually, and I started and made some sounds, but they didn't listen, didn't hear me, or were scared. They went away too fast. So, and that's poverty. That's poverty. I didn't make videos. I was thinking about that, but then I thought, no, I can't. I can't make photos or videos of this because I'm not a blogger, traveler like most of people who attract attention by finding these horrible things in different countries and saying, "Oh, look how awful is all this." I cannot do that to these people because I live with them and I'm part of this society now. So I cannot do it, and I didn't do it. So that's what people should do. The big people, they have to help poor people, people who really suffer in the world, rather than fighting with power, with all this going to Lolita Express trains and stuff like that. They have to organize looking after these really people who really need their help, especially in countries like Somaliland, which is very promising and with a huge potential, because the birth rate is six child per woman, and they need to help with education and malnutrition and stuff like that, and it's not much money. Thank you very much. I'm coming with some other videos reasonably soon, hopefully. Please write comments and give me some likes if you want me to carry on my activity. Thank you. Bye-bye.